windswept, empty. The beaches of Normandy, France.
This is the day for which free people long have waited. This is D-Day.
But on June 6, 1944, the coastline here looked like this. The largest amphibious assault in military history. U.S. forces landing on beaches codenamed Omaha and Utah. Our allies, Britain, landing on Sword and Gold. Canadian forces on Juno.
Barges approach shore ready for instant action. Some bearing artillery and rocket guns already opening fire.
The audacious assault commanded by Supreme Allied Commander General Dwight D. Eisenhower. The collective troop strength, 175,000.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
At the time, most breaking news was delivered by radio because few owned TVs. The unusual, iconic 3 NBC chimes had a 4th tone that day at 3:19 a.m. The added chime was a secret signal to news reporters to get to work.
This is Robert St. John in the NBC newsroom in New York. Men and women of the United States, this is a momentous hour in world history. This is the invasion of Hitler's Europe.
News traveled slowly. It would be weeks before the steep cost of the invasion would be known back home. In all, more than 10,000 Allied forces killed, a bloody sacrifice that gave the U.S. and our allies a foothold in Nazi-occupied France. Eventually, history shows D-Day was a turning point in the war with Adolf Hitler. Without the D-Day success,
Germany would have continued invading countries, deport population, deport the Jews. It's true that it's difficult to imagine a world without D-Day and those events because they happened. So we are now in a different world.
On the murderous sands of Normandy and its rim of watery hell, they push against the gates of Fortress Europe.
among those who made the landing, survived, and made a return visit when he was 99 years old, Jake Larson.
What's it feel like putting your shoes back on this sand?
It's eerie.
It's eerie to be here?
It is. It is very eerie to be here.
This great-grandfather made his last visit to the beach in 2022, telling us at the time it holds so much pain, but also pride in victory.
Why would I call myself the luckiest man in the world? Because I believe I am the luckiest man.
On that day, Jake waded ashore in water up to his chin, a scrawny 20-year-old farm boy from Hope, Minnesota.
I said, God, what am I doing here? What the hell? I can't see anybody to shoot at. But I ran. I weighed 120 pounds at 5'7". And I said, thank God the Germans aren't good at shooting toothpicks. Honestly, I was thinking that.
Jake had joined the Army years earlier to escape the Depression. The world's economy was in tatters from 1929 to 1939. The times were so troubled, often just a piece of bread was hard to come by.
How old were you when you enlisted in the National Guard, and why did you do that? How did you do that?
Well, I was 15 years old in 1938.
Did you lie about your age?
Only 3 years.
Why?
Why? For the money. Every 3 months I'd get a check for $12. $12.
We were fortunate to get here.
The first.
Right. And we had to come in with high tide.
Another who fought on D-Day survived and returned when he too was 99 years old, Bob Gibson.
What was it like?
It's very difficult to explain because we were all young guys. Normally we couldn't care less, but there wasn't a one of us on the Rhino Ferry when we come in here that wasn't crying.
It was scary.
It sure was. Every 10th round was a tracer, so you knew how close the shells were getting.
In May of 1945, the end comes. The dictatorship that set a world on fire sputters out in unconditional surrender.
D-Day not only worked to liberate France, but it eventually freed Europe and, nearly a year later, led to the defeat of Hitler's Nazi Germany. NBC's Tom Brokaw named those who fought in World War II the greatest generation, in part because they're so humble.
Free men have given mankind the opportunity to be free. And that is the greatest of legacies.
What do we owe you?
You don't owe me anything. Yeah? Respect, that's all we ask for.
When people call you a hero, what do you say?
Oh, we done a job. We're no hero, just an everyday job, but we're required to do. And all of us young people done it.
And when they call you a hero?
I said the heroes are the ones buried over here. That's how Bob and I got up here. It was the people that made the way for me. They're buried here. They made it possible for us to get up here. We're not the heroes, we're the ones that continued the war.
3 hours after the invasion begins, it is clear that the Allies have their foothold, however precarious.
What if D-Day had not been successful?
Oh, we'd all be speaking German, and I'd be long dead, because I disagree with that SOB. If anyone disagreed with him, they just killed you.
Salute! Present! On!
Those vets who came back to Normandy said at their ages, 99, 100, 102 years old, this would be their last visit. Treated like rock stars for what they achieved, the defeat of Nazi Germany.
The world will little note, nor long remember, what we say here. But it can never forget what they did here.
But those who lived it want us to understand the cost. There are 9,387 headstones for Americans buried here in Normandy. Wally King flew 75 combat missions as a fighter pilot during the war. It was his mission to shoot at the Germans so the American transports could safely drop supplies to Allied forces. At 99, Wally told us he had never been back to Normandy because the wounds of war run deep.
War's an ugly, mean, miserable business. It's nothing glamorous and glorious about war. If I have any criticism of wartime movies, they're glamorous. There's always a happy ending. And that's not what war's about. War is just dirty, ugly business. It's something you don't want to do, but it's necessary to do.
Hitler's master plan called for the extermination of all Jews. 26-year-old Nathan Leland, U.S. Army, told us he may not have ever been born if Hitler had succeeded.
My family comes from Germany, Germanic Jews, and they told me that they left Germany before everything got really, really bad, and it was an honor. It's an honor for them to just be able to. I'm sorry, I'm getting really overwhelmed being here. It's just really, really amazing. And I don't think I could ever put it in words enough how much I'm moved and touched to be able to meet veterans of World War II.
D-Day, General Eisenhower told the troops before they launched, in part, your task will not be an easy one. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory.
He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when this day is named.
And eventually, victory it was. Kerry Sanders, NBC News, Normandy, France.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.